Because we're live now. It's just not going to post it until later on. Hi, everybody. This is Cheryl Aaron. This is my Ypifany YouTube channel. And today I have a very special guest with me, the lovely Karen the Realist. Okay, Karen tells it like it is, which is why I wanted her on this video today. Because today we're going to be talking about an article that I posted on LinkedIn yesterday. Very, very interesting. I hope you guys go to it, but I'm going to put a link to it underneath this video so you can see it just in case. But the name of the article, and I'm going to be looking over here because I have it on my other screen, is called The Dark Side of Leadership Development, an Exploration of the Possible Downsides of Leadership Development. Okay, so I wanted Karen here to help talk about this because she has lots of experience in leadership positions, and she's never worked in government, as far as I know. Have you? Okay, so she has a really unique perspective that I think, can help enrich the conversation. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read some parts of the study. It's a really extensive study. It's like, I don't know, 60 pages or something. So you can, read the whole thing when you get a chance. But I'm just going to highlight some areas that I thought were interesting and that we can just, quickly talk about because it has a lot of implications for training, program evaluation, and evaluation of other talent development programs. Okay. So, so the study is called The Dark Side of Leadership Development. And it shows that leadership development may not be as positive as we think it is. It may actually have some deleterious effects on the leader and on the organization when they go back. And I know that in evaluation, we really don't look at that kind of stuff, but we really should. We should look at that kind of stuff. Okay, so one of the things it says is that research on the effect of leadership development is usually focused on the breadth of positive effects. So think about the evaluations that you do and the kind of questions that you ask. Do you remember getting any evaluations when you went to any trainings or anything like that?
No, I remember the one who issued.
Oh, you gave out the evaluations. Mm-hmm. Okay. So what kind of stuff did you get back? I mean, do you remember? You know what you used it for and all that?
Well, they would have to be put through a training. Usually it's done on the computer. Uh-huh. And then I would have to go back and analyze what they have learned from that lesson that they had gone onto the computer and done.
Yeah.
It wasn't like for any higher positions or anything. That was just for them to learn what their position was.
Right.
A lot of the feedback, not so good.
No, wasn't so good.
They really didn't get much from it.
Okay, but that was more like a competence type thing, right? I didn't really learn anything here or anything like that,
and
right?
They don't want to share that they didn't get it or the usual.
Usual. So something else that the the study says that leadership development activities may sometimes be ineffective. We know that. The question of whether such activities may even have detrimental consequences for participants comes from a comparison with psychotherapy research. So that's what they did. They used research that they had done with psychotherapy, and that showed that despite all good intentions, interventions like personal feedback and confrontation type role plays, things like that, may sometimes not be in the best interest of the learner. So I thought that was really interesting. And it reminds me of that quote by Alan Watts where he says, "Let me help you or you'll drown," said the monkey, putting the fish safely up a tree, right? So we have these programs and, we were going in like, okay, this is good for you. So they come to the program and it ends up having a really, negative effect on the leader. So it's mostly theory, right? So they don't really talk about, a lot of programs don't really tell you how to do stuff. Like there's no actionable stuff. It's like, this is the framework you should use. This is the theory that says this is a good thing to do. But when it comes to actually getting on the job and doing the work, they kind of struggle. Yep. Have you noticed that at all?
Yes, lots of struggles.
I mean, from leaders, not from leadership, like actually struggling with.
Yeah, there was. And we'd have to go back and go back over everything. And that was just more time spent because you just didn't want to pay attention. Things get boring. Things, are repeated over and over again, but then taken in a different direction.
Yeah.
And then they're lost because they were hearing it over and over and over again. Then it went, the opposite way.
Yeah.
So they really weren't paying attention because now they're just saying the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And so when it changed, then they got lost.
Yeah.
Because you lose focus.
Yeah.
You lose focus. So a lot of that had to been, brought back, redone, reevaluated. And then everyone's looking at you as the top leader, like what went wrong?
Yeah.
Because you're not interesting.
Yeah.
The things that you put on this computer to have these people evaluated and do this and do that, really, they don't learn anything.
And I think that goes to this next part, right? It says reasons why leadership development fails: poor learning and training conditions, unclear learning objectives. Maybe they don't understand why they're there. Those things are unclear. Meaningless content, misappropriate sequencing of content, right? And mix of training methods, lack of opportunities for active practice, and lack of relevant, timely feedback and appropriate follow-up activities. Okay. So I know I've been in some leadership development programs too, and very heavy with theory, like I don't want to mention the different programs that I went to, but like I can certainly compare one with another one. Like one was very good about letting the people in the room bring their knowledge to the content, right? So I'm not just sitting there getting talked at. One was really not so good about that. It was like you're a student in a third grade classroom while this person, tells you how to be a good leader type thing, right? So, but so this leads into the primary point of this article, at least as far as I see it. And it says, we assume that lack of evaluation coexists with less focus on the design of activities, hence increasing the likelihood of unwanted outcomes, right? So what this is saying is that you find that when there's no systemic evaluation going on with the program, you will also find an increased likelihood of unwanted outcomes. Okay. If you're looking for that, if you're just, looking for, we just want to hear the positive stuff and you put away the more negative stuff. Right. But if you look for both, because the job of an evaluator is not to judge, like that's not my job as an evaluator. My job is to give you the facts so that you as the stakeholder can make the judgment. I don't do that.
I've had two types of that. So when I was in the restaurant business, I'm the one that went and got the training, and then I would distribute it to my workers. So I'm giving them what I got.
Yeah.
So it all depends on that higher person paying attention and then breaking it down for them. Yeah. And I got a lot more results from that. On the other hand, when I had to use the computer and say, go do this lesson, go do this lesson, it either wasn't getting done, they weren't paying attention, or they just skip right through it and say they're done. And then they're guessing at things. So I feel like if you're the head, if you're top here and you're doing this, you can't rely on the lessons and, specific things that they put on the computer and just say, go do it. It doesn't work like that. You really need the computer and hands-on, which is a lot of places are forgetting that hands-on is a good thing. Right.
Technology only goes so far. Like even, so some things lend themselves to technology, but everything doesn't. It definitely makes things easier for the company maybe, or, but, that's where the evaluation and learning design come together. Like, what do you want these people to be able to do at the end of the day, right? What do you want them to be able to do? And how do you want them to be able to do it, right? Those things need to be married, the evaluation and the learning design, so that you really get as close to those outcomes as you can. It's not guaranteed, right? Because you have different contexts, people have different things going on, but to help mitigate the risk that you're going to get these negative outcomes, you have to marry evaluation with learning. So so they have here the reasons for negative experiences. Now this is really interesting. So when you guys download the report, you'll see this. So here are some of the reasons for the negative experience. The activity turned into something I was not prepared for. I did not feel that the facilitators respected my integrity. I felt forced to say or do things that made me feel awkward. That resonates with me, right? Because I cannot stand when you have to, get up and do stuff, partner with this person. I mean, that's just my personality. I don't like that. Like, I just don't, not in the way that it's been presented. What I did like, and I talked about this in one of my videos, is that we had to call one of our colleagues, and I had never done that. And I was happy to do that, right? Because that's my colleague. Like, I talk to them all the time. So to bring them into the training, that was awesome. I really love that. So another reason for negative experience, information that I shared during the activity was used against me later. I experienced feedback from the facilitators as insulting. I experienced feedback from other participants as insulting. And this activity harmed my ability to carry out my work. So I think those are really important. And many of those, thinking back to some of the programs that I've been in, I see exactly where they're coming from, how that can have a detrimental effect. Have you experienced any of those, Karen, in training?
Yeah.
And it's terrible, right?
Because probably almost everyone in those lines.
Yeah. Because the way it is, right? You feel like the way they shape it is like, you feel like the person in front of you is the expert. They've been to school, they have the PhD, they have all the experience, all this other kind of stuff. And you don't want to, like, you feel bad saying something, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, okay, I just have to sit here and take this, until it's over. I just got to take it, get my certificate, and get the hell out of here. Basically is sometimes the way it is,
Really know what they're saying, because they didn't get it either. They're just repeating.
Exactly.
It's just another cycle
there you go.
that you're going to go through. And instead of that person saying, hey, this is bleep, bleep.
Yeah.
And, I actually really feel like the rest of the people in this room, because they're not confident because they didn't get from the program what they were supposed to get.
Yeah.
So they're just following the script right along with everyone else.
Until it's over, which is unfortunate, because that's not what the learning environment is for. Let me just say that's not what it's for. So at the end, so they talk about the implications, right? It says, we think our study documents how leadership development may not be unequivocally positive, but implies risk to both participants and organizers if not carried out properly. Handled incompetently, leadership development interventions may not only be a waste of time, money, and opportunities, but they may also actually be demotivating or even outright dangerous to participants, right? And we suggest that those responsible for leadership development in organizations should take the threat of fads and rogue suppliers more seriously than has previously been the case. And we also recommend they be more persistent in both designing and evaluating leadership development programs. And I'm telling you right now, when you marry the evaluation design with the learning design, you mitigate a plethora of risks that you will not get the outcomes that you intend. Yes, you will absolutely get outcomes you don't intend, because that's just the nature of the business. You're not responsible for the learning that happens. The learner is responsible for learning, right? And they're going to learn whatever they want to learn, when they want to learn it, how they want to learn it, and all that. But you have created a goal, right? So to help you reach that goal, it's in your best interest to really marry the evaluation with the learning design, right?
But everybody needs to come to mind.
Yeah.
It's, positive or negative. You need to hear all about it. All of it without it harming you for saying something.
Yeah.
Because usually they'll take offense to that. And you're like, close up. You're not right for this position.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not that they ain't right for the position. It's everybody has their own acknowledgement of what is happening and what, how it's portrayed to other people.
Yeah.
So you need to take the good and the bad.
Right.
Because that's what will make it great.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
the good and the bad, because nothing is ever good and stays good.
Right.
So you always have to roll with the punches.
Yeah.
But a lot of companies won't do that.
You're right about that, right? So the ability to create a safe space for people to feel like, okay, I can say that what just happened here offended me, or, it really made me upset, or because what that does is that allows me to, to see something about myself, so maybe I've taken that in. It wasn't given an offense, but it was taken in offense, right? For some reason I did, but I'm not going to say that, and I'm not going to say anything that's just going to stew if I don't feel safe enough to be able to say it, right? So, and that's all about the learning environment and how that's designed, right?
Because you're just going to shut down.
Yeah.
I'm not being heard.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to be, judged by what I say.
Yeah.
And it's going to affect my job.
Yeah.
So you should have an open dialogue with, anybody above or below. You're all working to do one job.
Yeah.
And it takes multiple people. What is that saying? It takes a village to raise a person.
To raise a child.
Raise a child. Yeah. And that's exactly what a company is.
Yeah. It takes a village to run a company.
Exactly. If you want it ran, right.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So that's, read the whole article, because there's a lot of good stuff in there. And if you're an instructional designer and an evaluator, this is really, really good. If you're an instructional designer who's not working with an evaluator, at the very beginning, like, don't go to them, okay, the training's over, and ask these questions, send out the survey. No, that's not what evaluation is for, right? Evaluation is like digestion, right? Digestion doesn't start when the food hits your stomach. It starts as soon as it hits your mouth. That's when digestion starts, right? That's when your evaluation needs to start. As soon as you get an idea in your head that you want to create something, right? You need to bring in an evaluator and start working with them at that time, right? So again, read the article. Thank you, Karen. Karen the Realist, everybody. Okay, you see why she's called the Realist. So so that's it. Okay, if you have any questions or anything, you can put it in the wherever you put it on here. Okay, and I'll see them, and we can answer that question. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.